What's going on, people of the interweb? Excuse my not so white whiteboard and this beautiful creation that Karina, who's one of my brother's girlfriend's friends, one of our friends, drew. So I couldn't erase this cute little picture here, so I'm going to keep it up for now. And this is for you guys. Like I told you, I'm going to be starting dieting again officially, and as you guys know, I'm very calculated with what I do, so I kind of want to describe it a little bit to you. There's three main parts of really getting a great physique and dieting down. The first one is obviously your training regimen. The second one is obviously cardio, which I consider a little bit different than training, and then there's obviously the diet, right? So looking at those three things, I usually kind of observe and think about those three things before I even start a cut. So everything has to be calculated for me. I'm a very calculated person, and I like to be prepared, overly prepared, and I think that's really how you're successful with something. Looking at what I'm going to be doing, the first thing I want to talk about is my training regimen. My training is not going to change at all. So the people that know me know that I usually do chest and arms, back and buys, and then legs. So I do a 3-day split, and I do that twice a week. So in essence, training 6 out of the 7 days with weights. I am going to be throwing in, we'll talk about that later. That's a little bit cardio. So that's not really going to change. The one thing I do that's probably different than a lot of people is I only do about 3 exercises per muscle group. So on the days I do chest and arms, I only do 3 exercises for chest, usually 3 or 4 sets. So really, on each individual day, a lot of people like to add a lot of volume, and I'm really only doing 9 sets. But I consider them working sets, so pushing myself pretty close to failure. And like I said, so looking at that, I will be doing 6 sets a week for each muscle group. Then usually take 1 day off. And there's really no set day that I'm going to be taking off during this, because life and work changes dramatically day by day, so I kind of want to pick and choose as I go. The second thing I want to talk about is my cardio regimen. So what I like to do with my cardio is, instead of saying, hey, I'm going to do 30 minutes a day, I like to go by calories burnt. And for the first week, I'm going to go by 300 calories burnt on average 5 times a week. So in essence, times that by 5, 1,500 calories burnt per week. This is something, like I said, that I've been doing. I used to do time, but then I realized my intensity would change all the time. So some days I may be burning on average 300, other days I might be lagging behind and burn 700. So giving myself a calorie budget in essence with this is what I like to do. 300 calories usually takes me about 20 to 25 minutes on the stair climber, so that's what I'll be doing. One thing that's probably going to be a little bit harder to track that I've been incorporating a little bit is my skateboarding. So a lot of people don't know this, but I love to skateboard. Haven't actually stepped on a board in probably about 6 years, up until about a month ago. So I've been doing that too, and obviously, you pushing around, doing tricks, it's a good workout. So I'm going to probably incorporate that a couple times a week. And really the way that I'm going to go by duration with that. and probably not even track it, to be honest. This is just going to be an additional X amount of calories. I would say probably between 300 and 500 calories per hour is probably my expectation of it. So that's the cardio aspect. Then there's obviously the most important aspect, right? Which is the diet. My diet's not really changing much from my last cut, but there's some things to bring up. As much as I'm super regimented in the way that I eat and the way that I train and the way I do cardio, I need to be a little bit more flexible with that. And I say this because if you watched my last video, I kind of discussed that I was having issues at work and getting in my food, and I put a lot of pressure on myself and kind of beat myself up for it, and I'm taking a completely different perspective. And that's kind of the same thing with the cardio. Going back to the cardio real quick, I mean, I'm saying 1,500 calories. There may be days where I do 10 minutes of cardio, and other days I do 40 minutes of cardio. The goal is just to burn at least 1,500 calories a week from the cardio. So like I said, I've taken a different perspective with this. trying to be a little bit more flexible. You know, we always talk about flexible dieting, but maybe we should talk about flexible training and flexible, you know, in essence, the same idea, to put a lot of less strain on yourself mentally. So to start off the first week, I'm gonna probably the goal is 350 grams of carbs, 150 grams of protein. I just had a little brain fart. And 80 grams fat. Plus, as you guys know, hashtag I'm addicted to fiber, so I'm gonna put in 20 grams of fiber. And if you've been watching my videos lately too, you know that I've still been eating very clean. The one thing I am gonna do is be a little bit more strict on my macronutrients. This kind of goes the same way I was talking before. It's going to be the average. So these are going to be my averages per day for the week. And that's going to give me a little bit more flexibility too, because I've noticed that there's days when I'm working and I'm driving around, you know, I don't necessarily have the time to just pull out one of my meals, sit down in a parking lot and eat it. So there's going to be days where, you know, you go over 350 grams of carbs, and there's going to be days I go under 150 grams of protein. So it's just going to be the average per day, and I'm going to look at that on a weekly basis. So I hope this gives you guys a little bit of insight to kind of my plans. Obviously, the cool and interesting part of dieting and training and trying to lean out is that you really have to make adjustments on a weekly basis. I did start, I think 154.8 is my starting point. If you guys remember my last cut, my starting point was 152, I believe. And to be honest with you, I believe I'm in a lot better shape than I was before my last cut. So I'm hoping that leads to at least 5 pounds of muscle that I've gained over the last year and a half. Really excited about this journey. Want to give you guys a quick update and show you guys exactly what I do before I even start the cut and how I prepare. With all that being said, comment, subscribe, like, and keep slaying.